One by one, the memories burn. What's done is done, but I kept the hurt. In the dark, my mind's your home. So time undoes and fills the holes. The color's been draining from my veins. Losing my sight in your sun days. Losing my sight, losing my sight. Losing my sight, losing my sight. Ooh, 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 Day by day, I watched you fade into the truth that you've been hiding, leaving me blind while your sun kept shining. I lost my heart within the maze of the you I thought I knew. Once beating red hot, now stone cold blue. The color's been draining from my veins. Losing my sight in your sun days. Losing my sight, losing my sight. Losing my sight, losing my
Hey everybody, happy Wednesday. How are we all doing? Welcome to Myles Dyer Live, where every Wednesday we hang out. We talk about all sorts, don't we? Don't we? We talk about all sorts of things, from the fun to the serious. And for anyone who was unaware, I actually did an impromptu live stream last night, just because I finished work late, was making some dinner, hadn't really done anything else all day, and I just needed to talk to people. And so I went on Instagram live for a little bit. Follow me on Instagram if you haven't already. And then I thought, you know what, I'm going to try YouTube live just off my phone. And so while I was cooking myself some dinner, and then actually when I was eating dinner, it was as if you were sat opposite the table from me, we had a nice little chat. And during that chat, I was saying I haven't even thought about what we could talk about this week. And a few of you, I think Looper actually, hello Looper, was saying music. We haven't talked a lot about music. I mean, we have spoken about music before. I think the last time was probably about AI music. And I thought, okay, music, it's a broad subject, and I'm sure we could nail something in particular to talk about it. And then today has just been wild. I literally finished working. I say finished. I've paused working 20 minutes ago after a 12-hour non-stop day. And I'm just going to put it out there. I am so stressed right now. I can feel it in my face. I've not eaten yet, which is probably a bad idea to start drinking beer. But I needed just something tasty to put my mouth on. And and so I was thinking like 20 minutes ago now, what should we do for the show? And I thought music is what people have been saying. And I was like, what about music that you use to unwind? And I know that probably sounds like quite an obvious thing, which is, well, people listen to chill out music. But actually, people have different relationships with music, right? Some people like going out to shows as a way of letting off steam and recouping their energy, the whole introvert-extrovert thing. Other people, they might have a certain playlist they listen to. I definitely have some playlists on Spotify I listen to for sort of deep study or for dealing with anxiety. And in other people, you might have a default album, or a particular song that every time you play it, it just brings you back to that happy place. And so I thought today we could just have a chat about music and people's relationships with it and what people like to listen to. Because I think, is there anyone in the world that doesn't like music? Just has like a complete adverse reaction to it. Because there are some people that are like allergic to water, I think, which is horrifying to hear about. So, we're not going to go down that direction. But if there is anyone in the chat who doesn't get any pleasure from music, I would love to hear from you. But that's what we're going to be talking about today. But I want to say a massive thank you to everyone who's joined. I had a really great show last week talking about Gamescom. And a lot of new faces in the chat, a lot of just love and support. And I just knew coming on doing this live show would make me feel a lot better, and I'm already feeling a lot better already. So to start off with, just want to say a massive hello to some of the people in the live chat. We've got Mojo, hello. We've got Kira Cat Lady. We've got Salvador. Fifth, who I want to say once again a massive thank you for the super chat. Thanks for your great shows, Myles. Slipknot helps me unwind. We'll watch this show later. Time for bed. I would love to go to bed right now. But Slipknot, heavy metal can be a great way. I definitely used to listen to heavy metal to unwind. I don't anymore. I love heavy metal, but it's not my way of unwinding. David VR, good to have you here. Agramonia, hello. Nick, Mulo, the Game Cat. Katie, hello. David VR, App UK. Looper, lovely to have you here. Callie, Time Cat, hello Z, happy Wednesday to you as well. Hello to everyone. I'm just making sure I haven't missed anyone else out yet. It's quite a long chat, but if anyone else is watching and hasn't said hello yet, say hello. I'd love to say hello back to you. Just as a bit of housekeeping, there is no puzzle today just because I've literally had no time to set it up. I created the thumbnail and the title and the description like 10 minutes before. It's been pretty full on. But speaking of music, if you like the music you hear at the beginning of these shows, head on over to Spotify if you have it and check out the Myles Dyer live music playlist. Anytime I add music to the beginning, it's always added here. I think maybe a couple of weeks ago I added some new music. I definitely need to dive in. I use Monster Cat Gold, so I pay for the rights to use that music on the live show, and so I need to go back into their catalogue and see what has been updated because they're constantly adding to it. But yeah, the music is there. Also, if you like the people that you see in the chat, and I don't see why you wouldn't because they're all wonderful, wonderful people, head on over to Empathy Arcade on Discord. Link is in the description, or you can use the QR code. And for those that don't know, if you're watching on your phone, you can just take a screenshot and then use the QR code that way. Always appreciate everyone that supports the show with super chats, but if you want to get a nice little symbol next to your name of the globe that evolves over time, or unlock some of the awesome emojis, become a member. It really helps me out for the price of a coffee every month, although with inflation, I think it's a lot less than that now. Also, I have a merch store, Empathy Arcade. I definitely need to start adding to this. It's on my list. And Let's Plays. I like to Let's Play PSVR 2 games. I've got a lot of titles. I am going to try and do a massive back-to-back session, maybe this coming weekend. But I've been feeling a bit under the weather lately, so I've not been doing that. But that's it for housekeeping. And I just wanted to say hello to GameCat Drac72. Hello to you. How you doing? All hell the grumpy penguin. I wish the penguin came up when I did that. They do need to add that feature. That would be nice. Right, before getting on to the main part of the show, and hey, Karina, some red wine would be nice. I actually would have some gin and tonic, but I've run out of tonic water. And last night I tried Sprite with gin, and it just didn't do anything for me. I actually threw it away. What a waste, right? But right now, I'm not actually a beer drinker that much, but Brewdog. I'm a sucker for branding. You know that thing you taught as a kid? Don't judge a book by its cover. That never goes away, but there's a reason why marketing is what it is. But like Brewdog have this Lost Planet First lager. United we stand for better beer, fiercely, defiant and independent. And what I love is, on the back here, you've got the world's first carbon negative beer. So drink beer made at our carbon negative brewery using a third less water, powered by wind turbines, and plant trees. The Lost Forest in the Scottish Highlands is our big reforestation plan to help create a carbon clean planet. I mean, that's really cool branding, right? I love it. Planet First Lager. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So, yeah, that is what I'm drinking. So, a massive cheers to everyone who is tuned in there. I went to see a movie 2 nights ago with my dad. It was a film I'd already seen. And funnily enough, I can't recall really going to the movie theatres to see any movie twice. But this year already, I've gone to the movie theatres to see a movie a second time. So 2 movies I've seen twice this year. I've already spoken about it on previous episodes, but this year has been like the most amazing movie year for me. Just because there's been just such a great range of movies that really tap into the kind of films I'm into. Everything from Civil War to Deadpool Wolverine to Dune to Longlegs. And the latest movie that came out was Alien Romulus that I was super hyped for. And I saw it a couple of weeks ago at the 4DX. I spoke about it on a previous show, so I won't go into too much detail there. But I wanted to take my dad, and unfortunately the 4DX had finished, but it was still available on like X Plus, it's called, at Showcase Cinema, which are like the massive screens with really great Dolby sound system. And so, yeah, I took my dad 2 nights ago because I watched Aliens, the second movie, with my dad when I was a kid. And I sort of have a very fond memory of watching that with my dad. And so I was just determined to take my dad to the theatre to see this Alien Romulus movie. Now, when I first saw it, I really liked the movie. I had a really good time with it. And there were a few things that bothered me. And I was like, Having seen it a second time, I had the most amazing time. I thought like I'd probably like it the same, but actually I loved it more. I think there's something to be said about expectations with movies, and I've really noticed it because it was also the same with Deadpool Wolverine. I described it as being like a 7 out of 10 movie that I enjoyed like a 9. But the things that bothered me about it, like I just enjoyed it so much more because I sort of just accepted it for what it was the second time watching these movies because I kind of know what it is. And yeah, I mean, if you're into space horror, definitely check out Alien Romulus. It's a hell of a ride. But my dad says he was exhausted by the end of it. He just says there was so much going on. He's like, I'm going to have nightmares tonight. There's some really creepy stuff happening. But yeah, that was good. And much love to Callie Timecat in the chat who says they're still job hunting. And that can never be good. Nick says, I could help make you a beer drinker. I mean, I'm technically a beer drinker as we speak. But what is everyone's drink of choice? And it's interesting because whenever I have friends come visit, I'm always saying like, let me know what drink what you like to drink, and I'll make sure we have it stocked up. And quite often I'll always have friends go, I don't drink alcohol. And I was like, yeah, but you do know you can drink other things. And I say that jokingly, but I find it kind of interesting that when you talk about like what do people like to drink, they instantly associate it with alcohol. But there's lots of there's non-alcoholic beer, which the non-alcoholic Corona is actually pretty impressive. There's a few that haven't been that great. But the culture of drinking I find super interesting, and maybe this is something we should talk about in a future show. Because look, before we get onto the main topic, let me just say this. I'm curious to know what you think, chat. Non-alcoholic beer. You have a can of non-alcoholic beer. You have a bottle of non-alcoholic beer. How would you feel about driving while drinking it? Would that feel off? Would you do it? Or would you just feel like this doesn't feel right? The reason I ask that is twofold. One is there's an argument to be made that you're just asking for trouble. Like if a police officer pulls you over. I mean, people say that they'll try and do you for wasting their time, but I'm like, really? I don't know if that would be the case. So that's one thing. And then the other aspect isn't there like the placebo effect still with non-alcoholic beer? I went to a New Year's Eve party like 4 or 5 years ago at a friend's. Sorry, I was just trying to hide the yawn by pretending I was going for a drink. Atma says, best non-alcoholic beer is Guinness, hands down. I love your Guinness icon. Is it actually really good? I need to give Guinness another go. I've not had Guinness in many, many years. And Nick says, non-alcoholic beers come a long way. Kira says, I make iced tea from those iced tea bags with lemons. Oh, that sounds good. Mojo says, Neil, gin and lemonade for me, or a Copperberg cider. I used to love cider, but it used to make my teeth feel a bit furry and sensitive, but I think that's probably because I had the cheap stuff. Gamecat says, I was gifted a Myles Dyer membership recently. Thank you so much to my gifter. Yeah, got some amazing gifters in the chat. Absolutely awesome. Is that right? Non-alcoholic beer still has like 0.5% alcohol, so I wouldn't risk it. I did. Is that right? Surely, I guess they don't call it non-alcoholic beer, right? Or no, they do. That's really interesting. Well, the other component about the placebo effect, the story I was going to tell was about 5 years ago, I went to a friend's New Year's Eve party. I'm going to yawn again. Must be a really boring story, right? My body is preempting me. But everyone was drinking. I wasn't. I had some non-alcoholic beer. But by the end of the night, I felt myself going. And I think the reality was, it's because when you're surrounded by people that are drunk, you kind of get absorbed by the atmosphere. And I think it's probably conditioning as well, isn't it? That you're used to being in those environments and feeling that way. Looper says, I'm not a driver, but I don't mind riding with someone who had a non-alcoholic beer. Okay. Atma says, with the Guinness, it's hard to tell unless you drink them side by side. That's the same with a lot of like vegan stuff. Is in isolation, it tastes the same, but obviously it isn't. You drink a lot of hop-flavoured water. Wow, is that a thing? Popsicle says, non-alcoholic beer is like vegan bacon. Why? When people ask that, are you really asking that? Like, I don't know. I just like, and I'm going to sound really patronising here. I feel like if you just take like a couple of seconds to think, can you work out why people might want to do that? Vegan bacon. There is some really good stuff now. Extra crispy stuff used with pea protein is good. 0% Guinness is lush. There is non-alcoholic and 0% beer. Okay. Interesting. Okay. I love this. This could be a topic for a whole other show, right? I said we were going to do it for another show, and I feel like we could always take off with this. All right, people. Music. So I'll kick things off with talking a bit about my relationship with music, and then I would just love to hear everyone in the chat talk about theirs. So I think there's definitely a few types of release when it comes to music. There's music that can be all about grounding you in the present to help you with mindfulness. It's like to remove the noise. I use it in flotation tanks all the way through because I have tinnitus, unfortunately. So I get ringing in the ears and it helps me distract myself from that. But then there's also stuff that gets you grounded in the psychological moment. And what I mean by that is, I mean, it's all technically psychological, but whereas like calming music might just make you present and thinking about everything around you, there's songs that take you to a place. And there is a couple of songs I have on this playlist. I mean, the one that I played on the intro is just like a super nice one. But like, I remember I used to listen every morning when I woke up, Pink Cloud, which was this one. This is such a feel-good track. I love it. I love that sort of stuff. Looper says tinnitus is like Mura. You only notice it when you think about it, and there's no way to stop thinking about it once you do. That's exactly right. In my most recent flotation tank sessions, I've had the music only at the beginning and the end, And at the very start, the ringing is loud, but eventually it calms down. Because it's an amazing thing. The Pink Cloud, and by the way, that is on the Myles Dyer Spotify playlist, so check it out. It's on there. It's such a good track. For me at the moment, I have a couple of playlists. I listened to an external one that someone created, which was all about. Actually, let me load it up here. It was all about dealing with anxiety. Let's have a look. How do I get to the home page? Oh, there it is. There's the home button there. So calming music, anxiety. Can I just fire this up? Oh no, it's not going to let me do that. But yeah, I have like this calming music for anxiety. I'll be listening to that a lot in the mornings when I'm trying to get into the headspace and just crack on with stuff. It calms me down. But I do have the Deep Focus official Spotify playlist. I also have a playlist on my channel called Relax, Focus and Work. All the calming stuff. That tends to be the space I get into at the moment. And that is how I unwind. Going to shows, I used to love going to shows a lot, but for me, it's just like the effort of going there, the effort of getting back afterwards, being in a hot, sweaty room with other people. I've spoken a lot about Coven, the EDM artists that I love, and going to their shows. And actually, Karina in the chat was at this one. We went to see them in, I think it was in King's Cross. It was a really cool venue. But I was stood at the back overlooking the main floor, and there was an aircon unit. And I was just stood there with my own space, and it was just perfect. I loved it. But on the flip side, we went to one, didn't we, Karina, at Bristol? Was it Bristol? Where it was on a boat, and we went onto the floor. We were right at the front, and that was really, really good. But it's like hot and sweaty, pressed up against people. So, like, I don't know. I guess it depends on the mood and where your energy. Sometimes you want to relax whilst you are full of energy. Do you get me? And at other times you want to relax in the sense of like you are completely spent and you need to like fully recharge. And I guess that's a big part of it at the moment. I'm definitely running on empty a lot of the times. Mischievous Marcio says, I'm addicted to drum and bass at the moment. I'm curious though, is that music that you just love listening to, or is that something that helps you unwind? I'm curious. Nick says, my latest music for all occasions these days is kind of blues, neo-soul. How do you define neo-soul? I'm curious. Neo-soul, sometimes called progressive soul, is a genre of popular music. As a term, it was coined by the music industry entrepreneur Kedar Massenberg. So it was during the late 1990s to market and describe a style of music that emerged from soul and contemporary R&B. So D'Angelo is an artist from that. Okay. Jill Scott. Anthony Hamilton. All right, I'm going to check this out. Who here likes lo-fi music? I love lo-fi music. I love it a lot. I love it. Popsicle says, love drum and bass, but old school. New stuff sounds shit. I'm into all my fusion. I think the reason I love fusion is because my music taste is pretty broad anyway, but it's also the fact that I think there's just, it's nice to hear novel elements from different genres come together. And so I think a lot of new drum and bass does tie into that. App UK says, not really into EDM apart from Daft Punk. Daft Punk is one of my all-time favourite bands, probably a top 3. And the Chemical Brothers. What was the song? Is it Don't Hold Back? Chemical Brothers, Don't Hold Back. They went to my school. Galvanise. It was Galvanise, wasn't it? Yeah, Galvanise. I love that song, Galvanise. Galvanise is an absolute tune. Lafayette. And people saying Angel. Hey, Alex. Oh, that was the venue. Lafayette was the venue. It was. And the Bristol one was Thekla. Was horrendously humid. It was. Fortunately, I say fortunately, I was a bit annoyed because I went all the way down there to see Coven and they weren't headlining or anything. It was quite a short show. But yeah. But by the way, Coven are just blowing up more and more. But they do want to come on the show sometimes, so that is something I'm going to try and organise. It'd be lovely to get them on. They're such great people. I find ambient drone music is very good for unwinding, specifically atonal tape loops. Yeah, I mean, there's always the thing about like the like brown noise, like the colour of noise, can be helpful for that kind of thing. So yeah, that can work really, really well. It sounds anything but relaxing, but when my marriage broke down, listening to lots of Linkin Park actually helped me de-stress me and was like therapy. Linkin Park is a great example. Don't they have an announcement coming out any day now, I guess, about their new singer? Yeah, actually, do you know what? The catharsis of like really good tunes with music. There was a country singer, I think it was Jewel, had a song. I need to find out what it was again, because I remember when I was dealing with a breakup or something. Jill, and I need to know what the song was. There was a song, and it was so powerful, I just burst into tears every time I heard it. There was a Guns N' Roses song on Chinese Democracy that I know was a controversial album for a lot of old school fans. There was it called Street of Broken Dreams or something? Loved it. There's just certain songs that can hit you right there. Can be really, really powerful. And there are definitely a lot of lo-fi playlists out there. Lots and lots. Nick says, Neo-Soul is like older Leon Bridges to me. It's kind of like current music that sounds like the 50s or something. That's awesome. Lo-fi? Is that the opposite of hi-fi? Well, yeah, I don't know if it's actually a specific definition for lo-fi, but a big part of lo-fi is the fact that it's the imperfections. So lo-fi music or production, lo-fi music is music or production quality in which elements usually regarded as imperfections in the context of a recording or performance are present, sometimes as a deliberate choice. So often when you listen to lo-fi music, you get like the crackling, as I would call it, of the record player going round. I find that incredibly, incredibly soothing. I have a go-to song that I listen to when I need to have a good cry. Does that count as unwinding? I think so. I don't know if I have a song like that at the moment, but there are definitely songs that in certain parts of time have made me feel that way. I like Ghibli lo-fi. You're kidding me. As in Studio Ghibli. Studio Ghibli. I did not know about this. There is chill hop lo-fi mixes. Studio Ghibli. Kira, I love this. I love that I've discovered this. Ghibli lo-fi. Right, I'm going to be checking that out. Incredible. Karina says, my absolute faves to chill out to are a few gaming soundtracks. Ori, 1 and 2. I've never actually played Ori. It's and the Wisps, isn't it? The Witcher and Hollow Knight. Okay, Hollow Knight's very similar to that as well, isn't it? Also great for when doing some deep thinking at work. Yeah, I used to love listening to Final Fantasy music, but and sometimes I will listen to it. But I mean, actually, one of my go-to songs to cry to was Aerith's theme from Final Fantasy VII. Oh, hairs on the back of my neck stand up when hearing that. It's like just one of the most powerful bits of music. Yeah, talking about the Galvanize Chemical Brothers. Push that button. Nick says, lo-fi, I like it all right, but I think there's quite a range of it, so it's hard to stay in one mood always. That's true. You got to get like sub-genre playlists when you do it. I love listening, Mojo says, to the Walkabout Golf soundtrack when I want to chill. It's very smooth and calming. You like listening to the Walkabout Mini Golf soundtrack? Do they have that on Spotify? And you've never played Walkabout Mini Golf, right? Oh my God, it is on there. Oh my goodness, I'm gonna have to check this out for sure because it's Chris Raymond who does the music. That's awesome. That's super cool though. I like the idea. If you've never played the VR game, but you're still bought into the world building and stuff, so that's really, really great. Hey Pan, good to have you here. Hope you're doing good. I've been told to check out the first Chemical Brothers album from the 90s, Exit Planet. It was on the Wipeout soundtrack. That's cool. Feeling Bad Blues, Rai Kuda. Anything by Kuda is great for my unwinding, but that particular song does something to my brain. Just music, man. Music is magic. It's just magic, isn't it? Listening to Linkin Park is like, well, this guy's more depressed than me, so maybe that will make you feel better. Oh, man, I love the catharsis on it and the way that he puts into words things that we probably have all felt at some point in our life. I heard the Chinese Democracy pre-release, found it very depressing as a big fan. Yeah, this is the thing, is anyone that was massive... it was actually the first full album of Guns N' Roses I ever heard, and I liked it, but I know people that were fans of the original stuff had issues with it. Atmos says, work has been crazy stressful. Listening to calming piano during my shift helps. I just hope I don't start developing a negative association. Well, I have a really great memory of being at VidCon in LA, maybe 12, 13 years ago, probably longer than that now. And I was put in a hotel by work. And when I went to the hotel in the evening and I got there, had the bedside light on that they'd left on, and then they had some classical music, piano music. And I'd like look out the back window, see the streets of LA, and then just being in this room with the classical music playing. It's just the best way of it's just such an amazing calming way to relax. So although I do like listening to my lo-fi, and I think lo-fi can be a great way to prepare for sleep, I definitely think classical music, and there's some great classical music playlists on Spotify as well that are really worth checking out. Enigma Secrets of says the first album. Love it. NE07 DJ Chamber says FKJ and a bit of lemon jelly for me. Mojo says, Myles, I'll send you the one Kira's talking about. It's great to nod off to. Thank you. Lured into the dark side of Ghibli, lo-fi and sleepy time. I'm going to be loving this. I've actually got a work meeting. So I'm presenting PSVR without parole tonight. So yeah, on top of the hour, I'll end this. I've then got to quickly make myself some dinner, and then do without parole. And then I've got a meeting at like 1 a.m. So that should be fun. Final Fantasy music is at your sleeping playlist. That's awesome. Journey soundtrack always makes me cry. How could I not mention this one yet? The Journey soundtrack is absolutely incredible, which is by Austin Wintory. I'm connected with him on social. I should try and get him on the show sometime. Really, really amazing, because he's done music for like Abzu, which was a very similar game. He also did it for Assassin's Creed. What else had he done? Was it Traveller? Yeah, Traveller was like a PS5 launch title, I think, that was kind of similar to Journey. Loved it. Erica. Oh no, The Pathless. The Pathless is what I'm thinking of. Had a really good time with that. Yeah, really, really good. MD, what's your favourite Daft Punk album? Mine's Random Access Memories, the final one. I love the earlier tunes like Defunk, Around the World, Digital Love, etc. But Random Access Memories is a masterpiece. It certainly is a masterpiece. And I love the song Touch. Touch. But Discovery is mine. It's just got such a special place in my heart of when I listened to it as a kid. And Digital Love. Funnily enough, I was speaking to Nafi, who does the VR coverage in the week on Instagram, and he had a Daft Punk poster in the background, and I said, I love the fact that you're a Daft Punk fan as well. And he says, what's your favourite Daft Punk song? And I said, I think it's Digital Love. I have such a soft spot for that song and the journey it takes you on. And he was like, same. I thought that was cool. So yeah, Digital Love. Digital Love is actually a great song to wind down to. I just love the slow beginning. I love the nostalgic feel of it, and it just feels like love. Like they've just completely nailed it with that song. Yeah, a lot of love for Journey. Clem Fandango says, has anyone listened through The Caretaker Everywhere at the End of Time album? That's quite an experience. Tell us more. I don't know about this. Nick says, lately the only thing going through my head is the jaunty little jazz tune from the Barbaria lobby. Seriously, I need help. Barbaria is such a great game. I do need to get back to it. It's amazing. It's amazing. Podcasts help me when I have a sore head or my tinnitus is loud. It helps block it out and give me something to focus on during work. Yeah, podcasts can be great. On my sleep app, I normally listen to the sound of rain hitting the roof of a car. That just makes me feel very cozy. But the past week, sorry guys, keep yawning. The past week I've been listening to a story about, I'll play it actually, about the gardener. I think it's called The Gardener or Gardening. Oh, it's called The Gardener. So it sounds like this. Is it going to play? Oh, you can't hear it because it's coming through my headphones. But it's a spoken word piece about, I want to tell you about the time I was in my garden. And what I love is some of them are very good. Like The Gardener's really great, but some of the other stories, you can tell. Like I laugh and I can't relax because as they're telling the story, they're using like all these alliterations and like narrative devices to add to the soothingness. And I just keep thinking, this is ridiculous. This is absolutely ridiculous. You're just saying this to sound poetic, and like it amuses me. It amuses me. GameCat says, Dract72 says, Baby Metal absolutely rocked when I saw them live last year. They're meant to be amazing. How old are Baby Metal? Are they super like young kids? They are between the ages of 20 and 25. Okay. Now I think they're 20. They're 25 to 26. But they've been going quite a while. It was one of those things of when I see that, I'm just like, how was this put together? They were 18 and 16. I mean, to be honest, I was in a band at that age, so it kind of makes sense. But yeah, I just like didn't know if it was exploitational when I first heard about them. But yeah, they are meant to be amazing to see live. Callie says, gosh, over half the show has gone already. 24 minutes left, or 19 now. This is how much I need to catch up. I'm always, I take my time with the comments because I'm always worried about getting to the end and then like having to wait for people to comment. But the engagement on this has been really good lately. So just massive thank you to everyone. Karina says, I love new Retrowave channel on YouTube full of top-notch nostalgic synthwave numbers. That's the other thing as well. All the YouTube channels that just play music is really, really great. Banjo-Kazooie, N64 soundtrack, also nostalgic, unwinding. That can be really, really good as well. Basement Jacks, they did Where's Your Head At, right? What are their other songs? And yes, the Daft Punk song Touch is amazing, especially with the instrumental towards the end. Yeah, it's amazing. I can already hear the bass line going. Contextual music. Atmos VR says, synthwave while watching a sunset in No Man's Sky on PSVR 2 is so relaxing. Now there's fishing. Can't wait. I need to get back into that game. Right. Karina. Absolutely. The Tetris Effect soundtrack, and that's on Spotify. What's the opening track? Connected, isn't it? It was, I think it's called Connected, Yours Forever. That song is one of the most mind-blowing experiences I've ever had in a game. It's like the most beautiful song. And I have it on my Spotify playlist. Also, Always Been But Never... What's it called? Always Been But Never Dreamed. That was it. Waleed is now a game cat, specifically a white tiger. Wow. Hello. For me, music causes headaches, specifically with headphones. It makes me feel uncomfortable, less relaxed. Remembrance of God, on the other hand, gives more contentment to heart, brain, soul. No judgment. Is that right? So, because at the start I was saying, is there anyone that doesn't get pleasure from music? So there's no music at all. Because like music doesn't have to be like a structured song. It can just be like vibes, you know, especially with a lot of mindfulness music. Does none of that do it for you? I'm just curious. Are we talking about ASMR? I mean, ASMR in terms of my sleep thing, I guess, I don't know. I wouldn't call it ASMR because ASMR is more about sensations. This is just like storytelling, bedtime story. But yeah, the first and last level tracks on Tetris Effect are next level. So good. Yeah, so that's it. So I think Always Been But Never Dreamed, I think, is the final track on it. Doesn't the ambient sound on Sleep Cycle always stop after a couple hours? I always wake up at 3 a.m. thinking it's way too quiet when I use that. Have to have my white noise machine. That's really interesting because I'm the opposite. I hate having music on that doesn't stop because then I'll get woken up by it later on in the night. So I like that. Oh, excuse me. I like that on Sleep Cycle you can set how long you want it to play for. So yeah, I have it for half an hour, and I'm asleep within like 15 minutes. Is this how you and Amal became friends? No, I'm trying to think how we got connected. We got connected like 12 years ago or something like that on social media. But no, I've never been a follower of ASMR. I'm interested in it as like from a scientific perspective, like the science behind it. I find kind of interesting. And when I listen to it, I can tell what it is, like the tingly sensations it gives you. I can understand the appeal, but it's not what I use for my relaxation. As much as I appreciate Amal and what she does. The Oblivion movie soundtrack got me into M83. Interesting secrets of, because that's on my like playlist. They just did the song Oblivion, didn't they? It was just called Oblivion. Yeah. That song is amazing with Suzanne Sundfør. That is on my liked songs playlist. Yeah. Clem says it's quite an emotional album that's divided into parts. It's meant to portray the stages of Alzheimer's disease. The music gets progressively more degraded as you listen through. It's very powerful. Wow. Definitely link that album again. I mean, I'm curious. Karina says, from electronic dance, apart from COVID, I've spent loads of time chilling and dancing to Romy and Fred again. Is it Romy or Romy? Clem says, with that, going with caution. Raindrops by Basement Jaxx is great. What about, Imogen Heap is great, but also, isn't Raindrops a song also by, it's Teardrops. Teardrops by, Massive Attack. Teardrops by Massive Attack is a masterpiece of a song. That is such a great track. That's what I was thinking of. I like listening to the song from Godzilla -1. I still need to see that, called Pain. Look it up. It's amazing. Something I'm definitely going to talk about on a future episode of Myles Dyer Live is the app Letterboxd, where you basically can track movies that you need to see and what you have seen. You can review stuff. I've got it, and I speak to a lot of friends who are like, oh yeah, I always just put notes on my notepad, and it's a really good one. Godzilla -1 is on my list there for sure. Eclipse DJ says, nostalgic game soundtrack for me is definitely Killer Instinct. Captures the 90s vibe perfectly and brings back great memories of arcades and SNES. That's super, super awesome. Karina says that Tetris Effect soundtrack is full of bangers. I went through a roller coaster of emotions playing the entire journey in one go for the first time. Glorious. It is one of my all-time favourite gaming experiences. It really is magical. Mojo says you can customize a lot of sleep playlists. Can you? You can't do like a timed thing on Spotify though, can you? Like switch off after a certain time. I like the kind of loud white noise from my AC, Chris says. Funnily enough, Wayne Rooney, the footballer, many years ago, everyone was making fun of him because I think he said in an interview that when the vacuum cleaner is on in the background, he finds it easier to fall asleep. And people are like, oh, well, that's weird. No, it makes complete sense, like having a droning sound. I don't know, it sounds weird, but sometimes I get myself into the headspace of if I have droning music on, I like imagine myself being like on a plane, but like, I'm in a plane where I've got a bed. This is amazing. Or in a car, the idea of like, yeah, this is nice and comfy. Like I'm inside. It's the same with rain. Hearing the sound of rain is comforting because it's the whole protected from the elements, that sort of feeling. But yeah. Siage says, I know one or two people like that. No judgment, but also slightly judging. I get it's subjective, but it's such a huge part of my life. I don't know what existing would be like without it. I was talking about with music. Yeah, Wally hasn't responded yet, I don't think. I'm really curious. Chris says, my mum's snoring is relaxing and my AC sounds like my mum's snoring. That's funny. Teardrop is also an original soundtrack for House. MD. I didn't know that. It's been used. I remember it was used on Prison Break. It's used on a lot of TV shows and that. Unfinished Sympathy by Massive. Yeah, Massive Attack is great. And yeah, the heartbeat drum beat. I think that's a great one. Angel is also really good. Yeah, I love it. What I'm going to suggest is after this show is everyone in the comment section below should just list one. Everyone should comment afterwards. One song that they recommend is what brings you to your happy place. And yes, Callie, yeah, if you're into movies, Letterboxd for sure. There's a really good acoustic version of Teardrops by Massive Attack. That's interesting because there's so much to it that isn't the acoustic, but I'm sure it's brilliant. I definitely would love to hear it. Yeah, the sound of rain is powerful. Now that's music. Is it music? What defines music? Music is an art form that combines either vocal or instrumental sounds, sometimes both using form, harmony, and expression of emotion to convey an idea. Let me ask our good old friend ChatGPT. Hey ChatGPT, we're having a discussion about music and what music, takes us to a nice place. And we wanted to define music because sometimes, like to go to sleep, I like listening to this sound of rain hitting the roof. And is that music? Does that count as music? What defines music? You tell us. I think it's good. You can't hear, so I'm just going to take out my...
Dynamics. But it's interesting you bring up the sound of rain, because while it may not fit a traditional definition of music, it does create a soothing soundscape that can evoke emotions or help with relaxation, similar to how music does. Some people would categorize sounds like rain, ocean waves, or even white noise under ambient music or soundscapes, which are used for creating an atmosphere rather than following a specific melody or structure. So, while rain sounds might not be music in the conventional sense, they can definitely serve the same purpose for many people, bringing comfort, peace, and a sense of place. Does that feel like it aligns with how you experience it?
So I guess you could say the sound of rain outside isn't music, but if the sound of rain is recorded with an intention to be communicated to someone and spark a certain frame of mind, if there's an intention behind it, that's what makes it music.
Intention plays a huge role in defining music. When someone records rain and frames it in a way to evoke a certain feeling or mindset, that purposeful act of sharing and organizing sound can transform it into music, or at least a form of artistic expression. The difference lies in whether there's a creative intent behind the sound. So the rain outside might just be sound, but once it's crafted or presented with a goal, like to help someone relax or reflect, it becomes more akin to music.
Yeah, that's interesting. It's interesting. I kind of feel like ChatGPT was just writing off my answer and trying to own it. So, yeah. Wow, Teardrops got replaced in house because they couldn't afford the royalties, but the song that they replaced it with sounds just like Teardrops. That's really interesting. Right, I'm just going through this. Siago says, I mean, music is arguably anything. My uncle, when I was a kid, would sit with me and figure out what notes engines would peak at. Trains, buses, cars, etc. It's literally everywhere. It is. I mean, music is technically the relationship we have with things that we hear, right? It is sound that we add meaning to. AI is like a wise oracle. Love it, love it, love it. Gamertag says, I want to see Myles get smoked out on stream. Does that mean get high? Is that what we're talking about? Is that what smoked out means? I haven't got high in a very, very long time. It makes me just so sleepy and unmotivated. Gamecat says, Golden Brown always lifts my mood. The Stranglers. Did the Stranglers do Nice and Sleazy as well? Yeah. Nice and Sleazy. Yeah, my dad was a massive fan of the Stranglers. And didn't they do Mr. Soft? No, who did Mr. Soft? Was it Steve Harvey? Yeah, must have been. Yeah. Golden Brown is an absolute amazing tune. Oktoberfest is coming up. I'm going to have so much beer. Oh, man. A game that we're working on currently is Oktoberfest VR. It's a social game. And, dude, it was used in the Mince advert. It was used. That was where I first heard it. I've literally got it here. Steve Harley wrote the song Mr. Soft for the British rock band Cockney Rebel. Harley was the band's frontman and also produced the song with Alan Parsons. In 1988, Trebor Soft Mints used a version of Mr. Soft in the TV ad, but with rewritten lyrics to suit the product. But yeah, whatever album that was on, I used to love listening to it as a kid. But yeah, there's a really, really fun game in Oktoberfest where you basically get to hang out in Oktoberfest in VR. It's a really, really cute social game. And it comes out in about 3 weeks' time. So I'm looking forward to hanging out with people on that. It'll be good fun. There's an Oktoberfest VR for real? Yeah. I mean, I need to wrap up because I need to make some dinner before the next thing. Let's see if I can find something. Do you know we've actually just done a lo-fi track of Ducks at the Pond in Oktoberfest? And it's amazing, actually. So this ties in quite nicely. But Oktoberfest, let's have a look here. Let's have a look. Man, so many videos. There was one of like me hiding away that was kind of funny. Oh yeah, okay, here's a clip that we did. We were doing a recording session with some of the devs and one of them turned up and they were really tall and I was so like, whoa, and then they started making themselves shorter and I was like, no, you be you. I look like some kind of like weird Ricky Gervais character, but like it's a 12-second clip, but it's hilarious, right?
You are tall.
Come on, Mr.
Pretty tall, one. No, I wasn't shaming. You be you. You be you. Be proud of your height.
I love it. Reese says, Lorna Shore helps me chill out and unwind. Nothing better than some pig squeals to get your day going. Yeah, unbelievable. Oktoberfest, yeah, man. Like I knew very little about it, but it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. All right, people. Well, listen, I need to make myself some dinner before getting ready for Without Parole and then getting some more work done. But I just want to say a massive thank you to everyone for hanging out with me. Lots of music suggestions. So, yeah, the live chat obviously does stay on the video. But all I ask is, after the live show is over, please just put in the comments section, like, your top songs to relax to, because I definitely want to check them out. I actually did a video on my YouTube channel, like, years ago called The Soundtrack to Your Life, I think it was. It was proper cringe. Soundtrack to Your Soul. Have I not got the video? Oh, no, I don't. I've got the thumbnail. So it was about 15 years on YouTube. The idea of the video was that I asked people to type in the comments, I feel, and then how you're feeling, because, and what the situation is. And then you put like the songs that you listen to in that situation. And what it meant was, in the YouTube comments, we made a database where people, if they were feeling like depressed, you could find people that said, I feel depressed because, and they give their situation. So it might be like, I've just broken up with someone, or someone I know has just died. And then they can find songs that correspond to a certain emotion someone's feeling in a certain context. Like, that was old school YouTube stuff I used to do. Yeah, it was a really cool concept. I think the video's offline now. I'm just going to have a quick search for it. Yeah, it's offline. I was doing like all these like editorial techniques, like driving in my car, talking to camera, and then driving off like on my parents' driveway. It was so cringe. But that's what you do when you're a kid. All right, people. We are going to wrap it up there. So to finish off, always like to take a moment to engage in some vitamin G. So every week, we like to take a moment to think about something you're grateful for in life, and it could be a song on this occasion. You don't have to share it in the chat if you don't want to. Merely taking a moment to think about something you're grateful for can be very transformative internally. So yeah, I just like to invite everyone to think about what they're grateful for. And so for me, I'm going to kick it off with something so obvious because of what we've been talking about, but I am genuinely grateful for musicians who can take the time to craft some music, put it out there, and then that's there forever. And it could be the thing that just nudges you in the right direction. And when I'm in a bad place, feeling sad, frustrated, stress, anything negative, it can really turn that around. And on the flip side, if I'm in a good mood, it can help me just amplify that feeling and associate it with some music that I can listen to in future. So yeah, that is my vitamin G. What else have we got for vitamin G? App UK says, I'm grateful. Astrobot is finally out on Friday. Wow, it's this Friday. I need to get it. I was sad Sony didn't get me anything. But it didn't come out on VR, so that would have been why. Callie Timecat says, oh wow, vitamin G. Let's have a think. Yeah, have a think. Mojo says, my vitamin G is music, as it helps us to express our thoughts and feelings and makes you dance like an idiot like no one's watching. That is true. I can't dance for stuff, but it definitely gets me in the mood when it's the right tune. Vitamin G from Kira says, lots of different streams to keep me entertained. That's lovely. Callie says, my niece again. I had a lovely meet-up chat with her earlier today. She is very knowledgeable and advice that will hopefully help me find some work. Gamertag says, my vitamin G is the people who invested wrist straps to increase the amount of wide arm pull-ups and pull-downs. I don't know what that is in wrist straps of wide. So is that so you're tethered to what you're pulling up? Oh, dude, I need to find out about this. I need to get into a I need to get into a gym routine very soon. Siage says, I'll do a vitamin G for my guitar. Why not? Very much the possibility I wouldn't be here without such a huge outlet for all the darker elements of our humanity. Being able to create on an instrument is powerful. Absolutely powerful. Atma says, vitamin G for living in a time when we... Vitamin G for living in a time when we what? When we what? What a cliffhanger. What a cliffhanger. Nick Mulo says, grateful that the season of Forceful has arrived. Second summer probably just around the corner, but feels great at the moment. Alex VR, what up, buddy? Vitamin G for my super exclusive and sexy Synapse hoodie. These hoodies are so good. I can't believe I'm wearing it today because it's 15 degrees out. It's all right. Let's have a look here. I'm grateful Lost is on Netflix now. I could go for a full run on that. That's awesome to know. Secrets of Vitamin G, my old cat that makes time to sit on my knee for a good cuddle when I need it the most. That's lovely. Game Cat Drac 72 Vitamin G for the Without Parole live stream tonight. I'm going to be trying to bring all my energy as soon as I've had some food after this. Atom Gaming says, I listen to Lucky You to wind down. That's good. Gamer Tag says, you need gym, bro. The body needs to feel healthy and pushed to push just the same as the mind. Yeah, I do need to get to it. I mean, I go for long walks every day, but I need stuff that's really going to get the heart rate up. So yeah, I need to look into that. Yeah, and Nick can confirm, actually, because you did win the competition. I was actually telling the End Dreams people at Gamescom about your sneaky little win. I say sneaky, you earn it, but like waiting before, like 18 minutes left was it, before you posted your time so no one else could possibly beat it. Amazing. Listen, everyone, a massive thank you for joining me this week. This is really good. It's been nice to do this. As I said, I am super stressed at the moment. And... taking a moment just to chill and hang out. And, you know, I liked actually the chat, like, dictated a lot of this conversation. Obviously, I gave my thoughts at the beginning about music, but just hearing about all your relationships with it has been really, really fruitful. And there's a lot of songs and artists and albums you mentioned. And that's why after this live stream, once it ends, I think you can do it now, actually. Please, in the comment section, just give some of your best recommendations of artists, albums, playlists, all sorts. And don't forget, all the music I play on this show, including Ocean Eyes, is available on my Spotify playlist. QR code is there, or the link is in the description, or you can just type Myles Dyer Live on Spotify. It's there as well. But without further ado, it's time to end it. Love you all, leave you all, and as always, it's time for your final thoughts. Much love, everyone. Have a good week. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Thought I saw you on the road. I was chasing sunsets all alone. The darkness faded, painting goodbye big sky. Far away but dreaming of your ocean eyes.
Ah, it didn't focus. Arizona Sunshine 2. Look at this little buddy. Massive thanks from Vertigo Games who got me this at Gamescom. Super, super cool. Seems happy. His name's Fred. Almost as horrific as Beef Boss. All right, everyone. Thanks a lot. I need to dash and make some food because I've got 30 minutes before PSVR without parole. Definitely check it out. And yeah, fungal zombie, it looks like, right? Thanks, everyone. Much love to you. And yeah, see you around. Bye-bye.